Hey guys, sorry to take so long to get to episode 2. I've been a little bit diverted with things I had to take care of, but I'm going to try to make these episodes really short so it doesn't take a lot of your time to watch them and just give you little clues and pieces of ideas that you can use. And remember that when we're talking about aging, everything is cause and effect. You don't just age for no reason. And when I say age, obviously you chronologically age. That's just like turning pages of a calendar. That's not what's happening to your physical bodies. Physiological aging is breakdown. It's when the speed of rebuilding and repair falls behind the speed of deterioration and friction and wear and things like that. It's connected to longevity, how long you'll live, but it's not the same thing. Because some people who appear to be really healthy die when they're very young. Well, I don't like the word die. It's highly misleading. They leave their current costume behind. And some people who get really old or sick their whole life and they still live a long time. So there are issues that separate the two subjects of longevity and aging. And we're talking about aging here. Although if you learn some things about aging and change what you're doing, that's going to affect the speed of how your body repairs and it lasts rather than breaks down, then you're probably going to affect your longevity as well. But the main focus is not number of years, because you're a permanent being anyway in various forms. So the main focus of this series is on aging in the sense of keeping your repair going fast enough and strong enough so it doesn't start falling way behind your speed of wear and deterioration, because that's what sends you into this hell that they call normal aging, that I'm telling you is totally not normal at all. Everything is cause and effect, and the medical people want to tell you, oh, you just ran into the wrong germ, to bad luck, right? Or you have genetics to fall apart in these different ways. Not true. You may have a susceptibility to something, but if you don't do the things to make it happen, it doesn't have to happen. So they tell you various things that are out of your control. You just got a disease, there's no reason, you just got it. And now you're going to die in this amount of time, and they make you believe it, and it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, and they give you the poisonous drugs to make sure it happens, and most of them don't even know the system that they're serving. So somebody has to get educated to change this trajectory of where things are going, and I suggest that person is you, because that's the one you can control, right? You can direct if you learn how. And the other ones are going to do what they're going to do. And you can help them by being an example rather than telling them what they should do. Do what you feel like you should do and learn. And by example, you'll inspire all the other people too. So you don't have to tell them what to do. You got your hands full just with yourself. So that's the first point I want to make about aging. Cause and effect. It doesn't just happen. If you see your body deteriorating, that means that the speed of building and repair has fallen behind the speed of breakdown. And that has a lot to do with what you do every day. So this is a really important point, and we'll come back to it in future episodes. Everything you do on this level here, they call it the real world, right? The physical plane that we're on. Every action, even everything that you say and think, it all matters and creates effects. And if you take full responsibility for it and learn what you're doing and what it's causing, your whole life changes. And when you take responsibility, it feels like you don't want the burden maybe in the beginning, and you'd like to give it to the experts so you don't have to worry about any of it. Not a good idea. When you take the responsibility yourself, the power to change floods into you, which is really a lot more satisfying, I think. So, cause and effect, nothing happens by chance. The breakdown of the body that they call normal aging is not normal. It means that the speed of breakdown is getting faster than the speed of repair and building, and that's up to you to a great degree. I'm not sure how far we can take this, because I still have obviously a tremendous amount more to learn and experiment and find out, but along the way I've been doing this for more than a half century in experimental research, and I have enough that I feel like I need to share it with you, so you can take the pieces of it that you want to use and experiment with them and take it further, and then let me know what you find out. There's no ego identity in any of this. We're all helping each other to learn as much as we can, trying to figure out how to make the best use of these bodies in the time we've got. Cause and effect, speed of breakdown versus repair, and then when you start getting into specific issues of what you do that affects aging, so-called aging, probably the first one is food, what you're eating. And if you eat garbage, it's a really, really unwise investment, even if it costs you less than real food. So my suggestion, what I feel makes sense, is don't eat any food that's not at least certified organic, or if it's not certified, if you can find out from the grower, or if you're the grower, that no chemicals were used in the soil, no chemical fertilizer, which are a disaster for the whole ecosystem of the soil. Nothing like that was used, no poisons of any kind, and the soil was built up and done the right way. That's like a minimum standard of what to eat. And if you're buying so-called food in the grocery store that has a paragraph of ingredients, my feeling is that's not food, and you're just poisoning your body with garbage that it can't use. It's amazing that the body can even live through that kind of junk. But once you really absorb and understand that, you realize, wait a minute, wow, the grocery store has very little actual food in it. Just where the whole foods are, the foods that are not poisoned, that are not processed and killed. Because remember, the main nutrient in food is life force. It's not even recognized by what they call science now. They recognize something about some vitamins and things like that, but not the life force, which is the main thing that the food carries to give to you, so that your body can use it and overcome this tendency toward what they call natural aging, normal aging, which is abnormal. So eat for life force. And whole foods are the best ones, organic. A lot of doctors who have understood that wanted to get their patients off GMOs, and just giving them non-GMO food didn't work, because the GMOs go with all these weed killers like Roundup and other ones that are not necessarily GMO connected, like atrazine and all these other horrible poisons that you should never eat, touch, be around, absorb, anything like that. And so the doctors found that to get their patients fully off all the GMOs plus the poisons that are specially used in huge quantity with GMOs, they had to do certified organic, because that doesn't allow Roundup and all this other garbage to get on the food. At least, that's the rules for it. So my recommendation is don't eat anything that's not 100% organic. Whether it's certified or not, just make sure it is. Talk to the grower if you have to, whatever. And more try to incorporate food that's raw, because when you heat food above about 115 Fahrenheit or so, it kills a lot of the life force in it, and that's reflected in the enzyme action and other things like that. So as much of the raw food as you can get in your diet. But even with the cooked food, it's way better that it's organic, that it's whole, that it's fresh. Matt Monarch from rawfoodworld.com made a great video. Funny title. He said, why cooked food is better than raw food. It's a great video. Raw food, it has the most life force, obviously, but if you make the change faster than you can handle emotionally, and you're feeling deprived and the stress is bad for you, it's better to relax and eat the cooked food, but don't get it non-organic. and don't get it processed. And I agree with Matt when he said that the processed food is probably the #1 cause of degenerative disease in the current environment. So go through what you're eating, move away from the processed food, get toward the whole foods, the natural organic foods that are grown without chemical fertilizer. Really important. And you want to learn to do things like not stuff yourself, not be eating, processed drinks as well, like sodas, and you want to get away from that. And here's what I found really early after getting into understanding the need for these changes, was that you may know about a physical change, like, okay, I don't want to drink soda, or alcohol is in similar category. I've never found any good reason to drink alcohol at all. I mean, it does nothing for you. It acts like a drug. It makes you less aware of what's bothering you. That's why people do drugs, exactly for that reason. But that's a bad reason, because that works against consciousness, which is your key to everything. So anything that you're using as a drug, so-called natural or synthetic, my recommendation is to find a way to get rid of it. And if you're hooked on medical drugs, which are, in my experience, highly toxic, if you need a doctor's help to get off of them, find a doctor that understands why drugs are a really bad idea and that they're not healing at all. Just my perspective on it. So you want to get to where you're just putting things in your body that are compatible with your system. Not, let the hormones of your body balance naturally, and learn how to do that. We have a lot of other subjects that we'll get into about the whole hormone issue. Is a very interesting one, and we'll get to that soon. But for now, just absorb the idea of whole, natural, organic, unprocessed food, moving toward what's raw. And in order to emotionally be able to make these changes without willpower and stress, we go into the aspects of that in Planetary Healing Club. And it eliminates the need for willpower. It's very useful. So if you want to get into that, join us at planetaryhealingclub.com. We're there live, interactive every week. Really useful stuff that I can't put on public channels because it's going to get us banned too quickly. But it's very useful and powerful. planetaryhealingclub.com. Other than that, we're going to do these episodes, and I'll put as many of these little topics that I can put in publicly as I can. Next one I'll try to get to quicker, not take as long as this one took. But to recap, everything's cause and effect. Most of it's what you're doing or not doing in your life. Learn about that. Become more aware, not less. Get away from drugs. Drugs are used as a way to become unaware of what's bothering you. And that's a wide definition. It could be a food or a drink, or smoking marijuana, or cigarettes, or drinking alcohol, some power trip that you're doing over somebody at work or your neighbor. Again, that's a drug, okay? Maybe it's not something that you're eating or drinking, but it's something that you're doing to shift your attention away from what's bothering you. Whereas if you want to learn, you want to become aware of what's bothering you, go right to it and understand it and resolve it. You're going to feel incredibly better. And that's part of aging. Because if you carry around stress, you're going to age a lot faster. And that's not natural, not necessary. And the stress is not just the situation around you or the people around you that are giving you a hard time. It's how you react to them. This is, again, a big subject we get into in Planetary Healing Club. But you can start looking at that right now. When somebody gives you a bad time in some way, or there's something outside to worry about, it's not the thing that's experienced as stress. It's your emotional reaction to it. And for that, you need a whole new way of relating to mind, just like you do with body. Both of them are conscious entities. And we'll get into that more in upcoming episodes. For now, do a self-assessment. What are you eating and drinking every day? And then see how you could improve that. That's where you will affect aging. It doesn't sound glamorous or as exciting as a miracle drug or herb or something, but that's where it's really happening. The little details of your lifestyle. Don't do them unconsciously. Be conscious. Make things better. It's totally in your hands if you accept it. And normal aging is unnecessary, and you can start changing your future right now. And then we'll get into the other aspects shortly. Talk to you soon.